Hello, all you wonderful people. Welcome back to the North American Strikers League. We on the west side. The playoffs are in full swing, and we've got the first match, the second match, I believe, in the double elimination bracket. We've got Best Western versus OTKU. This is going to be an interesting set. I've got one expectation, Borg. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, Taco Hada's gonna sweep. No?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I mean, in all seriousness, though, I think Otaku Hideout is actually looking a lot better recently, but I'm a little bit biased right now because in the Pro League Invitational yesterday, actually, let's just say my team did not perform very well against the Bounty Hunters in top 8, and we got absolutely crushed. And so it's hard for me to bet against them with their third place finish yesterday and how well it looked like they played. They're taking a game off the Sad Boys and almost pretty much getting to grand finals against them. Man, I mean, they're on fire right now. They've been scrimming a ton too. I've been talking to all their players. They're all feeling like really hot. This is Gravity's last season, so he definitely wants to win because he doesn't want to really play anymore after this. So I think he's gunning to win this one. And Otaku Hideout's gonna have a mountain to climb.
Indeed, they are. Best Bounty Hunters is looking like they're playing out of their minds, especially this past weekend, and hopefully they can take that momentum into today. The last time that these two played off, it was a pretty clean sweep, but like you said, this was in week 2, and ever since then, things have changed a little bit. That was a 3-0 and then a 3-1 set. We're going to have to see, especially where the dice falls, and if Bounty Hunters is going to be able to take advantage of the stage and the awakenings.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, for Taco Hideout, credit them, they have been playing well, did make playoffs in a very, very contested West bracket, is the meta in this game right now, it's very, very volatile, right? So there's so many chances with awakenings and with map pools where you can just get screwed over. Like, we see so many upsets in the Pro League Invitational. We've seen so many upsets in general in the West qualifiers, with Core Overflow losing earlier last week against Light. So lots of potential for upsets, lots of potential for anything to happen, really. Like there's I don't really know what else to say with it because there's just the way the meta is right now with speed, the trainings, the maps, the fact that you can't actually trade your characters, so like draft is a little bit RNG as well. Bounty Hunters could, run into a couple roadblocks here if not everything goes smoothly. But I do believe, regardless, of that, Otaku Hideout still going to be the underdogs in this series for sure. But I'm hoping, they at least get a game, and I want to see a strong showing from both teams.
Right, they definitely can. We've seen them do wonderful, wonderful plays, especially on the side of Mark XO, who can pop out those picks like the Octavia and other picks that can all of a sudden take over a game if kept unchecked. And it's going to come out down to whether or not they can get those things online.
Gonna come out to that as well. I believe we are just waiting for the players to ready up here, and we will get into games shortly. Do not want to waste any time here, especially for our East Coast people, including myself. It is 11 p.m., so we'll try to get these games underway. Definitely. I want to see a 3-game series, like a really close 3-game series, but at the same time, I think my brain and my body is kind of just wants to see a quick 2-0. But the player inside of me wants to see a 3-game series. You know what I mean? I want to see a long series. I want to see something that, I want to see surprises. I want to see Taco Hideout pull out something crazy and upset in the game, maybe. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it's that competitor inside of you that's gunning for it. I know exactly what you mean.
But this right here is saying otherwise.
Right, exactly. No, yeah. I don't know if a bunch of people that I've talked to today have just been like, oh, it's been just such a dreary day. Like, I felt so tired, low energy, and just want this day to be over. So I think it's just a common thing that people are feeling today. But hopefully these players are not feeling it because we are getting right into the first match. And we've got Night Market. Let's see these bands.
Yeah, I'm expecting on Taco Hideout. I'm expecting a Julie ban here, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, Kainu has just been completely insane at this character, especially on this map, which is probably Julie's strongest map in the entire pool. So expecting that. A Dubu ban. Okay, I actually do like that as well. Gumi has been playing a lot of the Dubu. Dubu very, very strong on this map. Can cut off a complete side with his wall, and Gumi has been practicing it over and over again. However, that does leave the Juno and the Juliet open, and Gumi still has that Kai that he's oh so comfortable with. So, I mean, curious to see how Otaku Hideout answers here as they lock in the Amy.
Right. A Night Market's such a tough one, too, because there's a lot of things that can be strong on it, especially if you can find a way to coordinate and lock down those side lanes, as Gumi just deciding to go through every single character, make sure that each one gets selected once, give it a fair turn. But we do see the Atlas come out on the side of the Otaku hideout, which I like a lot.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the starting awakenings are, right? I always kind of the question, as, you know, probably we'll see here in a second. But depending on what they are, you know, Atlas definitely pretty good on this map as well, especially into that Juliet. We actually have a twin drive start. Okay.
No!
So, twin drive ego is start. I don't think it'll be that bad, you know. It's not going to be as big of a deal as Gumi, you know. Makes a little oopsie as he shows there with his emote, you know. But the Atlas with twin drive definitely very, very strong, and we'll have to see how well that Best Jelly can use it.
Right, exactly. This is the first game of this playoff match, this semi-final match in this double even bracket. Otaku Hideout has the twin drive Atlas online. Does Gumi play a lot of Atlas? I'm actually not sure.
Not really. I mean, I'm sure he can, obviously. Like, he's one of the top goalies for a reason, right? He could probably pick anything up and be pretty decent with it, but I don't think he enjoys it as much. It's not really his play style. He's definitely more aggressive than the average goalie. Likes to walk up, likes to fly, as they've been saying recently, you know? Let him fly, let the goalie fly. As you can see here, he's literally at the midfield line throwing Giga Blasts out. So, really well played here, you know. Best Jelly, great defense there. Actually uses up that expansing Gumi, losing that last barrier. MarkXO looking for that goal, but not quite able to find it. I mean, Taco Hideout looking good here as Gumi just forced to make these incredible saves.
Right. AlphaKiwi playing up wonderfully well and supporting MarkXO from afar with those glitch pops, with those nice strikes, and slides that one right past Gumi, who had no cooldowns. And this is what we're talking about. Sometimes you just need to get a couple, 2, 3 things going your way, and all of a sudden that core is going into the goal.
Yeah, one thing I do know about Bounty Hunters is that, you know, they're definitely a warm-up. They got to warm up a little bit, you know what I mean? So some interesting plays by them overall. Definitely a little mistakes from them, but I mean, MarkXO and Best Jelly, I mean, also AflaKibi with that goal too. Great shot into the top corner, just capitalizing off it. And they're going to need as many points early as they can. You know, take advantage of this early game. You know, like when you have the twin drive, when you're actually winning on Awakenings early on, before it might get contested as MarkXO. Great dash punch into that barrier, and then kind of answering with another kill onto AlphaKibi. Or AlphaKibi, that's 2 deaths this round already. So going to be, you know, I mean, Kainub's not letting him have it easy right there as he gets both barriers with the flip and the punch and the goal and
I love what you mentioned, right? It's gonna be about making sure to keep pace with the team that can start snowballing this match, especially once the Kai starts getting those speed awakenings, once the Juno starts getting those buffs to those Blabos. It can really start getting out of hand quickly, and they need to try and keep this core away from them for as long as possible, keep those levels up. And Kainub recognizing that and trying to make sure that AlphaKiwi just cannot stay in there for long and cannot have the levels to compete.
Yeah, Kainu definitely very, very good. Very, I guess, I don't really want to say a passive Juliet player, because he's definitely very good at scoring, and he usually plays a little bit further up. Prefers a lot of those safer trainings with stagger, speed, prefers that type of play style, but can definitely just find these kills randomly too. Like, Kainu definitely very, very good at finding these surprise kills that you don't really see coming. And so has already surprised off Kiwi coming in. Posturing here, but cannot quite find it from the turret, from that Amy. Great angle there from Gumi, actually runs forward, finds the core flip off the demon angle, and Best Jelly just misses it, I believe, with his primary there. I mean, insane demon angle there. That was, I didn't think that was going in.
No, I didn't think that was going in either, and it bounced at just the right pixel, it seems like, off of that corner of the goal, that goal, like, surrounding, right, the diagonal barrier. That's so rough if you're on the side of Otaku Hideout. Like, you're trying to get these goals going, you're trying to make sure that you can maintain a little bit of an advantage, but like you said, letting the goalie fly is so important, as we see Kainub making sure that AlphaKiwi flies off of the map this time.
Yeah, I mean, finds another one of those kills, and just with the straight punch, Best Jelly throws out that Atlas ult, you know, trying to res and trying to find that revive, but not quite able to find it in time. As he actually uses the flip there, a little bit short, not quite able to find it. However, he does defend it for now, and the flip Kainub answers with another kill onto AlphaKiwi. That's 2 again. I mean, AlphaKiwi's really got to be careful with their positioning, because if they keep dying over and over like this, it's going to be really hard for them to find leeway. However, MarkXO gets that redirect off I believe the Giga and the Slime there, just kind of at the same time, finds the opening, gets that over that upper corner, and I mean, Gumi just not quite in position to save save it.
Right, and that's twice now, right? Where it just seemed like Gumi didn't really have everything ready, trying to keep that core away in the midfield and not able to use it effectively to stop it when it needs to get stuffed out and cleared. Alpha Kiwi, though, like you mentioned, has just been hanging around these sides, and Kainu can just slowly get that one in. But these goal barriers are down this time. Markixo is there, ready to go. Gravity's gone. This time, no Blobos to try and save them. Dash Punch doesn't go through. Gumi, no cooldowns. Had to use the Barrage to keep that one away the first time, but a Strike War missed. And that's the set going to Otaku Hideout in what seemed like a very sudden kind of turn. Like there wasn't anything like too incredible, too exciting, and it seemed like they were on the back foot, but they came out on top.
Yeah, it felt like for both teams it was kind of like the set of mistakes, right? It kind of felt like mistakes on either side, just like little things going on. Like Gumi kind of the first 2 goals not really able to find, you know, the positioning there to save, but that last one was definitely all Otaku Hideout popping off, finding the KO. And as we quickly look at this draft, we get the heavy impact onto Markixo, bulk up onto Kainu, but Super Surge onto the Amy. Aerials for the Juno are going to be really helpful there. Deadeye I want to definitely look at for Gumi. Gumi doing a lot more damage with those Gigas, and last Best Jelly gets the Orb Ponder very, very strong into Atlas. Going to help him scale overall, since, you know, Atlas, you're probably not going to be taking him off the map most of the time, maybe once or twice, but he shouldn't be dying as long as he's being careful.
Right, and like you mentioned, that Deadeye is going to be so important too, because if Gravity can start landing these Blobo hits, as well as Kainu be able to try and chunk people down with those dash punches, and Gumi has the ability to secure those kills, add just enough more damage, whereas Best Jelly is probably not going to have that kind of aggressive presence. You see Markixo gets hit right there.
Yeah, and I guess kind of the equalizer for this comp, you know, both not the most aggressive comps in the world, with the Atlas being very defensive. However, they do have the Amy and the Julie to kind of find those sudden KOs, as we see right there. Saw that one coming a mile away, kind of getting knocked off the side. I don't believe, just not quite had enough for an evade. Probably thought that he did have that evade ready. But on the side of Bounty Hunters, you know, you have the Juno, not too much damage, especially anymore after the nerfs, but you have the Julie for the sudden KOs, but you have the Kai, like we said, with the Deadeye, with those Gigas, as Markixo, I mean, completely popping off this match so far, last set and this set, finding these goals, finding these timings with their dash punches, and another timing with that ult, knocking Gumi aside and strikes it into that down corner. Alpha Kiwi doing a great job getting it to him, but Markixo, it's the show right now.
Definitely. The amount of time that they're spending inside that goal box on Bounty Hunter's side is insane. The fact that he's able to sit there, stay on top of that Kai. I'll never forget one of the first pieces of advice that I got in the competitive Discord was, if that Kai is there, you need to be sitting on top of him if you're Julie and making sure that he cannot breathe. And that's exactly what this is textbook Julie at play, as Best Jelly flips just a little bit too late.
Yeah, I believe Best Jelly struck a little too early and kind of got lax there. And same with that, a little scary. Whoa. Second Expanse able to finally do it, but they need to get this out. Gumi not messing around anymore. I think he's a little upset about what just happened, as Kainu and Gravity are hunting this goal, you know, closing in on him. Gumi gonna finally, you know, take a second, dribble a little bit. Markixo dash punch, good try, not quite finding it. Gets the bottom barrier, not quite. Almost gets knocked off the map by the Giga. Gravity jumping way across the map with that aerials, kind of looking for the goal, and it's just kind of back and forth here. However, there are no barriers for the side of Otaku Hideout, and Bounty Hunters, I mean, sitting pretty with 2 right now.
Bounty Hunter sitting pretty with 2, and especially with that KO can get this one going. Markixo is still up in the front though, leading the entire goal to Best Jelly. Complete faith in the teammate, and that one's gonna keep flying away from that open goal for the time being, as Alpha Kiwi finally gets back online. The puck goes through. Finally, a jump from Gravity, able to cross up the Jelly, and these Blobos are not going to mix well with that Jelly. That was so clutch from Gravity.
Yeah, this is a little weird. Bounty Hunters feel like a little... I don't know if you watched the 3rd place match. I actually streamed that for the Pro League Invitational, Bounty Hunters versus Finesse. The first game, Bounty Hunters looked a little bit lax. They looked a little bit sloppy, looked a little bit like their team play wasn't quite there. Are not quite there, as we just are seeing now. I mean, they're able to find the goal in the end from a great play from Gravity. Great save there from Best Jelly with that Atlas ult, by the way. Gumi trying to fly, core flipping for safety. Not quite able to get it, but I mean, Bounty Hunters, they're slowly tightening up a little bit as Markixo gets that last barrier. Gumi looking awfully low, dodges the punch. It's 1-1 here, but I mean, like I was saying, Bounty Hunters, it feels like they will tighten up, but they're definitely going to. This is a best of 3, so nothing too crazy, and they're only down 1 set, even on goals right now, so the game is nowhere near over. But I don't know, a little bit uncharacteristic from them is what I'm trying to say.
Right. I think I would agree. You know, it's not something that we see too often where we can just let this Juliet start taking over the game, right? It's something that everyone has had to deal with at some point. It's finally that gold barrier goes down in front of Best Jelly, but MarkXO is still there, has been keeping Gumi's stagger bar very, very low this entire time. Fortunately, Alpha Kiwi's just not been able to do the same thing that it was able to do in the first set, and these gold barriers just go down a little bit too early, and this Atlas just gets left alone, and that's rough, but Bounty Hunters is finally doing a good job at collapsing on that.
Yeah, they're finally finding these passes. Gravity, I mean, one player that has definitely been playing well overall. I think finding these really good slime placements, finding these angles for this goal, like, you know, and I mean, just right there, getting forward, noticing that he needs to be there, getting that position, another jump with that twin drive. But Gumi, I mean, just getting absolutely diffed by MarkXO there with the core flip, with the Julie ult, and both barriers gone for Bounty Hunters this early.
Both barriers gone. Alpha Kiwi trying to keep this barrier up with Best Jelly. Not going to be able to do so. This could be the set, the turnaround, as Kainu was able to turn around that one, get the KO, and slip that one right towards Gravity, past the primary from Atlas, and that's Bounty Hunter besting OTKU Hideout in this second set. Gravity,
yeah,
very much a well-earned MVP.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Gravity scored, I think he scored all 3 goals. And definitely in the right places, finding those angles, great patience at the end there, you know, to wait out that Atlas primary, and gets rewarded for his efforts with this hot shot. Wow. Probably the strongest training on Juno, especially on this map. I mean, actually, it's probably a little bit weaker on this map, if I'm being honest with you. However, the one thing that I think OTKU Hideout can say is they get the built different best in slot on their Julie. MarkXO, who has been playing incredibly well this game, gets the best in slot built different. Spark of Agility going over to Kainu, Spark of Focus going over to Alpha Kiwi, Orb Dancer, so double Orb on Best Jelly, and Gumi getting the stacks on stacks, very, very strong on this map, especially for Kai Goalie. So pretty good. I believe Bounty Hunters probably won this draft a tiny bit. However, you know, Best Jelly with the double orbs and built different on the Julie is definitely nothing to shy at.
Right. There's a lot of, I don't want to say complication, but there's a level of imbalance now where there's a lot that has to be taken into account with these awakenings, with something like the hot shot from the Juno, with the built different. People are going to have to play around a little bit more differently around the one Julie than the other, and it's going to create enough of an interesting game where it's not going to be clear cut who's going to be in the lead right now, as MarkXO using that build different to get that KO early. The core flip is ready. Barrage comes out, barely able to stop this, and Alpha Kiwi is just chilling on the other side. Kainu was just chilling with this core and is able to get Gravity back into the match and turn this one around. And that was a great opportunity for OTKU Hideout, just gone.
Yeah, I mean, great play from Kainoob there. You know, no one on the side of OTKU Hideout there to actually interrupt Kainoob's dribbling, holds it for as long as he can, gets Gravity up, and then finds a KO to get this last goal barrier off that power play, and Gravity off the power play with the hot shot plus overtime. Core going a million miles an hour, nothing Best Jelly can do. Sinks it into the bottom corner off of that self-pass into the slime. Beautiful shot there, and beautiful play from Kainoob.
Beautiful shot, beautiful play, and now this is looking like the Bounty Hunters that we saw this weekend that were just tearing things apart and absolutely unstoppable. Look at how together they're playing now, right? This is the difference. They're able to coordinate, they're playing around each other, playing around each other's cooldowns.
Yeah, I mean, finally feels like they're playing together, as Kainu says, who needs teamwork when I can just dash punch? Finds it, doesn't need size training, doesn't need power, you know, he just absolutely takes them off the map. Almost gets a double kill there, actually, so very, very close. Gumi, I believe, just DC'd completely, hopefully not overheating. Alpha Kiwi and MarkXO do not care. They said, we're not waiting in overtime, we'll wait next set, and they take the goal there. Unfortunate from Gumi. I'm not sure if they're going to be pausing here or not. However, you know, we'll have to see.
Just rough.
I mean, yeah, I believe they're going to be waiting here a little bit.
We love good sportsmanship. We love good sportsmanship here at NASL. That's what I expect from these players. I think it's what the players expect from one another, and they're following through on that. That's just rough. I know Gumi has had issues. As speaking of Best Western this weekend, this is another very big talking point: is the issues of the overheating PC.
Yeah, so one thing I do know is that today, in general, he actually has been streaming like all day doing coaching. So he's been doing coaching streams all day, so his computer probably was feeling a little hot. And, you know, just being on all day. Definitely needs to rest a little bit, but has no time to do it. So maybe in between games, you know, he'll have like a couple minutes to reset his PC fully. But hopefully he's able to get back into game here, or else I believe, you know, it's too late to actually remake the game otherwise. So best of one, you know, if he can't come back, might be going to Otaku Hideout, but I don't want to speak too soon. Hopefully he can reconnect, because this game is definitely very close. The one unfortunate thing I will say is because it's Juno with Hotshot in overtime now, okay, he does reconnect. Luckily, he does come back, but, you know, unfortunate for Otaku Hideout is that they have to deal with an overtime Hotshot Juno.
He lives. He lives. He is back. Everything is hunky-dory, it seems like. The players are still waiting for probably a ruling from the TOs, and we'll get you an update as soon as that happens. But yeah, right, going right into overtime kind of makes things a little bit more hectic than you'd like to off of the face-off, as well as these orbs sitting around for that Atlas to pick up whenever. Emotes coming out, and we're finally getting back into play. An interesting start. They tried to do it as standard as possible, right? Alpha Kiwi whiffs the super surge. The player's probably a little bit frazzled. It's kind of taking full advantage and just going for it. That's
gotta feel bad.
That's so rough.
That's gotta feel bad. I mean, kind of just absolutely getting both barriers, core flipping, and then finding that goal immediately, basically, as the game starts. You know, I mean, appreciate Otaku Hideout and their willingness to, you know, actually, not sure, I can't remember for the life of me, to be honest with you, if that's really in the rules for that pause, but Gumi with the Giga Blast, just almost getting that barrier as well, but finding that KO. I mean, man, it feels like Otaku Hideout's a little bit frazzled now, you know? Like, they were playing really well before this. It just feels like they need to kind of get back into it, a little bit frazzled. Maybe not the happiest of the situation, but, I mean, what can you do? The game does not quite have a pause function in it yet. As, you know, MarkXO making the best of it. Actually, as Gumi hits a pass emote, running up, let the goalie fly. He's going to try to flip here. Maybe top corner. He actually does get it. So secures at the point. Says, you know what? My PC can overheat, and then I'll overheat you guys and just absolutely score. Spam pass, let Gravity play goalie. A little bit of BM.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I'm going to overheat your mental, overheat this core with the flip, and then send it right past you for that final goal for the set. I mean, that's just... Gumi's just playing forward at this point. I mean, really, he has. He's just been sitting in that like upper third for most of the game. But during this draft, that's an orb replicator for a 2-orb Atlas already.
Yeah, fully stacked double orb with orb replicator. Orbius is online, ladies and gentlemen. Orbius has entered the night market matrix. And, you know, a couple other things to note. Big Fish on to Kainoob, so definitely very, very good. Gravity has a Monumentalist. Gumi gets the specialized training plus the Deadeye as well, so very, very scary there. As we see double KOs onto the Julie and onto Alpha Kiwi as well. So MarkXO doing great there, finding out, getting the second barrier as well. But Best Jelly a little bit out of position here, gonna get the orb, get some speed, get some cooldowns for his team, but, you know, I wonder if just the teamwork and the skill from Bounty Hunters can overcome Orbius.
It seems like Orbius has a lot to say right now, because MarkXO is online, finding 2 KOs this round. Already, we're seeing the difference of what kind of playing for this late game, using these more multiple awakening style builds can do for you as a team, and it's really something special, unless there are no orbs for you to actually get.
Yeah, I mean, gets one there, loses both gold barriers in the process, not quite what you want there. However, MarkXO does die, so Kainoob and Gravity going to have a power play here, definitely going to try to tie this up 1-1, end this really quick in 3 seconds, hopefully before MarkXO can come back. Kainoob dribbling, trying to get up a great stalling from Best Jelly and Alpha Kiwi. Only one flip needed to be used there, as MarkXO wastes no time coming back on the field and taking a barrier.
MarkXO wasted no time. That was a really good special from Alpha Kiwi, who did pick up that extra special. That's coming in pretty clutch right there, using that turret to finally get that through again, but not enough was done off of that power play to get the goal barriers on the side of Otaku Hideout. Kind of just not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I mean, Kainoob just dribbling, scoring, dash punch. I mean, Julie, right?
This is what we expect.
Yeah, doing the token Julie thing, right? When you catch a goalie with no cooldowns, Julie can do whatever they want to. As Gravity, great patience again. Common, you know, thing with Gravity is just great patience You know, when you speak to him in real life, you wouldn't think he has this level of patience in game. You know, a little bit of a zoomer, I will say. I can definitely say that because I am his friend. But you know,
I know exactly what you mean though, right? Where it's just like, oh, this person is actually one of the most like cerebral people in the middle of the game, whereas talking to them, it sounds like they've got like 100 things going on in their head at all times. I know exactly what you mean. But Gumi though, definitely a lot going on in his head as he's dribbling that core right around. Finally gets it up to Kainu with the flip, doesn't even need to use it. Gonna sneak past that Celestial Expanse. This is match point for Bounty Hunters, and I'm gonna be honest, Borg. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, this went from OTKU Hideouts looking like they had a game on their hands to Bounty Hunters just cleaning house.
You know, it was 1-1, and then in the sets, and 1-1 in goals, and then Gumi DC'd, I think kind of reset his PC, decreased the temperature of it, probably by about 20 degrees Celsius. Playing a little bit more smooth now. Maybe that had something to do with it, a little bit of fire going on the PC. I saw someone in chat spamming that emote as well, or not spamming, but putting that emote in. Kind of not quite able to find a great expanse there from Best Jelly. And then we do have flips on the side of a Taco Hideout and an orb. So Orbius is online, Markiko sprinting with that extra speed. Best Jelly does have the flip. Able to get a double kill there. Alpha Kibi and Markiko double kill. Now they need to get a goal onto Gumi, or they need to tie this up 2-2, and Markiko can find the bottom corner. Well played from Otaku Hideout.
The Super Surge Ivy that had been sharking for those KOs all game. I've been seeing Alpha Kibi on the other side of where the core is, just looking for it, waiting for it, and finally it comes through. Unfortunately, this time around, kind of decides it's my turn to get the KO. MarkXO is here, has the flip, able to cross him up, and Bounty Hunters is not able to seal the deal on that match. This is going to set 5, and Otaku Hideout has something to say.
Yeah, I mean, they did. You saw Alpha Kibi get knocked out immediately, but as we saw in one of these earlier rounds with Kainu just 1v5ing, taking both barriers, and then scoring, I mean, MarkXO shows he can do it too. MarkXO, the Ohio boys, as they are dubbed in beta, not from Ohio. A little bit of an inside joke there. I mean, gonna get rewarded with the Catalyst. Very, very strong training, especially on this map and on the Juliet character. Gonna be getting a lot of core flips. And let's see what else. We got the prime time onto Kainu, very, very strong. A little bit harder punches. We're gonna get a missile prop on Alpha Kibi. Definitely very, very good training there. Glass cannon onto Gino. Very scary, actually, because Gino is not getting hit very often. And then rapid fire onto the Atlas, always a good training. And lastly, quick strikes onto Gumi. Definitely another very, very solid training. But one thing I do want to highlight is the Catalyst onto MarkXO, who sadly dies immediately.
Sadly dies immediately, cannot make full advantage of the extra energy as the energy is getting reset. But Alpha Kibi finally looks like he's getting good interruptions, good intercepts with the abilities, as MarkXO is in perfect position. Dash punch. There's nothing Gumi could do. That was just beautifully executed from the two forwards on Otaku Hideout, who seem to finally be using their positioning together and getting these goals in. This is the kind of play that we need to see at the highest level.
Yeah, these solo plays that they're finding with Alpha Kibi finding that last barrier after MarkXO dies, and just the willingness to play super aggressive even after one of their teammates dies. We see the Egoist plus the Catalyst. MarkXO showing it off beautifully. They're getting both barriers immediately. Bounty Hunters getting a little nervous here as the Amy turret goes down, but Gravity has something to say about it. Plenty has something to say about it. Taking Alpha Kibi off of the map as Gravity positioning to try to get a goal here. Gumi trying to get it past MarkXO, but a brick wall to Julie in the midfield, and now the power play's over. It gets the barrier for the treble. I mean, MarkXO has the flip. Needs to be careful. The power. Look at the speed. Look how often he gets these core flips. They need to get this last barrier if Bounty Hunters have a chance to stay in this game. As Best Jelly, very, very good defense here. Has the twin drive, has the prime time, or excuse me, not the prime time, has the rapid fire, and he has the flip, and so does MarkXO, so does Alpha Kibi, finds the KO, but great saves from Gumi. Great saves, grab, so trying to find the angle. Gumi, another great save, getting it past him. They need to stall for 3 more seconds, but they cannot. It is over. Or is going incredibly fast. Great goal from Best Jelly. That good expanse finds the bottom corner. Wow.
Borg! What? All of a sudden, Alpha Kibi's finding KOs. MarkXO is finding every single barrier that he needs to, and is putting so much good pressure on Gumi together. Even in the midst of that, using just everything that they need to keep up defensively during that power play, as the flip is up and Gumi has one barrage and is able to keep it away for at least the time being. But Best Jelly is walking forward, flying up just like Gumi has been doing for the entire match, and is able to flip that one through. Not gonna be able to find the goal, but it's in good position. Look at them, they're out of position. The Super Surge Swiper Swipe comes in. That's the goal for Otaku Hideout, and they have won the match against Bounty Hunters, who have been on fire, who looked so good, who had the overheated PC in the middle of this match, and playoff picture is looking a lot different right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone expected this, right? I mean, I want to say Bounty Hunters felt like they're underperforming there, but at the same time, Otaku Hideout was just absolutely popping off. Mark XO showing why he's one of the best forwards in the West League, if not the entire NA, right? I mean, this guy's a beast. This guy gets built diff. He doesn't quite get the big fish, but has built diff, gets the catalyst, gets the egoist, gets flipped basically every single 5 seconds. Every time he has his ult up, he gets his flip. And I mean, look at the stats. 9 goals from Mark XO and Alpha Kibi, 7 assists as well. So definitely, you know, part of the play as well, both with 29,000 damage, just dwarfing the entirety of Bounty Hunter's damage. And then one thing to note here is that, you know, I mean, Gravity, with the most redirects in the game, trying his best. I feel like Gravity played insanely well with the 84 shots, but there's only so much one Juno can do. And with, I mean, Alpha Kiwi and Mark XO just feeling themselves right now. They are hot, and they're looking for this next game.
Oh, you can tell that they're gunning for it, right? And especially after that momentum swing, if you're on the side of Bounty Hunters, you have to be trying to just reset your mental, reset everything, and just go, okay, where are our fundies? We need to start leveling up our play. But I mean, Otaku Hideout's gonna ride this, and they need to start making something happen. Like, Bounty Hunters needs to start making something happen now to disrupt that. They need to come up with a plan. They might need to ditch the Juno. They need to come up with something, because overall the damage was just a lot once they got to the end of that game, once they got full builds.
Yeah, and one thing to note here, actually looking in chat, General Twee bet, I think, 183,000 channel points on Bounty Hunters that game. And lost all of it.
Lost all of it? I think
Kids, don't gamble. Don't gamble, because things, especially on Omega Strikers, because like I said at the beginning, this game is very volatile right now, and any training can make the difference.
I think that was a 1 to 10 like odds for the predictions. So like people who bet 5,000 are gonna have 50,000 back for the members of Otaku Hideout coming through for the bestie bucks.
I wish I bet.
I wish I bet too. I wish I just
it feels
threw
a little bad,
bit.
You know, but either way, I mean, well played from Otaku Hideout. One thing that we briefly touched on in game, right, and we kind of just stopped talking about it a little bit, but just had so much presence the entire time, was those orbs from Best Jelly. You know, when you had the Ponder, it felt like it was pretty okay, but it felt like, you know, obviously the forwards were getting the benefits too, so not the biggest thing in the world. Got the speed training, felt a little bit better, right? Able to help out in the midfield, able to run up, actually play a little bit more aggressive with that speed training every time an orb spawned. But once he got the replicator, I mean, they really needed to deny that. I can't quite remember in that set if he was first pick. I'm not quite sure.
No.
I mean, I think they could have denied it.
It was second. He was second in that pick.
Yeah, okay, that's what I think too. They could have denied it. I mean, Bounty Hunter's paying the price for not denying it, because look what happened. I mean, so running at the speed of light the entire, basically, I mean, the entire last set, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Orb Replicator give energy to the teammates as well?
Yeah.
So, like, that combined with the 2 energy awakenings that Mark XO had with the Egoist and with the Catalyst, like, that's an insane combination of energy. And you saw it, like, Mark XO got, like, 2 core flip goals in that set, and that was exactly what they needed.
Yeah, it's more, it doesn't really give too much energy. Like, the orb itself doesn't give crazy amounts, and with Replicator, it went the splitting and everything. It doesn't really give crazy bit. It's like maybe like, I think like an eighth or like of a bar. Like, it's really nothing, but indirectly by giving him cooldowns with the Catalyst actually gives him more energy, because he has more cooldowns to hit, which gives him more energy in turn. So that's kind of where the energy was coming from, is that he'd, you know, dash punch, ult, get half his energy bar with Catalyst, and then he'd get Ponder, reset his cooldowns, and then do it again, and then he'd get a core flip. And then when you have Egoist as well, you have that speed, and you get every single time you flip or evade, you get the energy back as well. So I mean, it just was like a loop. It was a whole funnel, and if they couldn't kill him, I mean, it just felt like it was just awakening heaven there for the side of Otaku Hideout. And it shows that, I mean, even the best teams can lose to a team that gets really good builds, right?
Right, that has the strategy, that understands exactly what they need to be going for in those drafts. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit of that strategy coming through on the side of Bounty Hunters this time around, as we're getting into the second game. Oni Village, and the band's coming through right now, as we see a couple of interesting hovers as well.
I'm betting. I'm doing
You're
it.
betting?
I'm not gonna say who. As we see,
Kainu.
the X and the Julie ban.
Wow. So no Julie for Kainu, but also no Julie for Mark XO. I'm expecting to see something a little bit interesting here. Gravity gonna stick with that Juno though, feeling confident, and for good reason, was very solid on that. But yes, we're seeing the Octavia. I am an Octavia enjoyer, and I'm very much excited to see Marks on this map in particular, because especially with the Julie and the X is gone, that Octavia is gonna be running around at the speed of sound.
So, I mean, I'm not an Octavia player, but I actually, I mean, I'm not going to say correct me if I'm wrong, because it's really just a hot take in general. I don't think she's good on this map. I think everyone thinks she is because of the speed, and she can keep up with everything, but I think that you can, there's so much space on this map, you can just clear it away from her. I think she's better on maps like Night Market and possibly Aten City, where it's still open, but it's not quite as fast. So, like, with the speed, you can kind of just hit it away from her, it feels like, as this cast the last Orb Dancer start, but only one person took that Orb Dancer. I kind of forgot, I wasn't really looking at the trainings. If we could get a quick little tab up here after this next round, I will look at it again. But I know a majority of players did click cast the last.
Right, which is, again, a really good, as an Octavia player, really good for her. And you're very right. The way that you keep this Octavia from getting going is to either chunk her down or just get the ball away from her. Just get it away. Just do not let her get even close to it so that she can't keep getting her resets and she has to waste her cooldowns so that she doesn't have an ineffectiveness to get these gold barriers. With that gold barrier coming up as Mark XO has the core flip really staggered and now finally gets cracked on the bar, is continuing to use this flow state, finally gets KO'd. And if Best Jelly can't use the core flip well, is going to have this gold barrier go down in the power play. Alpha Kiwi's right there, ready to make a spoil happen during this play. Gonna keep it up though. Mark XO back online.
Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying earlier with the Octavia, I think kind of what I was saying with the fact that you can hit it away from gets a bit nullified with the fact that it's cast the last start, right? Because you have a lot more time on there to keep your secondary up. As, I mean, great core flip there from Alpha Kiwi and great kill from Mark XO to just kill Gumi in his own net with that ultimate.
Right, just the and then just starts walking forward at you. What do you do? What do you do, right? There's a whole lot you can do. It's so big.
That is a sound effect. I like that one. But yeah,
we're gonna see the two barriers go down here from Kainu, and this is looking good for Best Western. Just trying to, again, keep the core away.
OTKU hideout. No Best Western. Best Western.
No Best Western
does not exist.
I'm sorry. I'm very tired. I've been looking at the page for the Philly LAN, where I put Best Western as one of the hotels for people to stay at, so it's just on the brain. I'm sorry.
Well, it's funny because they're also a team, which is funny. It's just
right, exactly.
Good thing, yeah. But yeah, I mean, OTKU hideout, not Best Western, but OTKU hideout, losing both gold barriers early on as we're kind of ranting there a little bit. Mark XO looking to kind of keep the pace here as Gumi able to secure that last one. Best Jelly using that expanse. Great shot from Gravity. Not quite able to find it. Amy turret going down as well. Gumi DCing again. No. And it's got to feel bad for OTKU hideout a little bit, having to wait again. And on this map, it's a lot harder to stop the core because look at it. I mean, it's going to end up on the other side of the map at some point.
Oh, wait, it is. Yeah, wait. Yeah. What are they going to do? Is Mark going to try and hit it and just keep it straight? No, it's going a little bit more diagonal now.
I mean, they deserve that little bit of XP at this point for Gumi DCing once again. I mean, get the man a working fan or something. This is ridiculous. Get the man
a fan. Can we start a GoFundMe for Gumi? For a new PC, a new fan, a new cooler.
That's kind of what the West League was supposed to be, right? A GoFundMe for bounty hunters. But I mean, at this rate, if they keep DCing, maybe they'll DC out of their chances of winning the 3K, or excuse me, more than 3K actually. Here, but
yeah, at this point,
ridiculous. Hopefully he comes back again. I mean, he's been able to come back every single time. Just a little bit unlucky that he's happening. Luckily, I mean, actually, they might reset. It is early enough, I believe, to where in the first set they might be able to reset depending on if Gumi can reconnect or not. So waiting here again.
So with the reset, do they get to play on the same map with the same awakenings?
No, we do not have the technology for that. Oh, it's stopping.
It stopped. Let's go.
Stopped. And Gumi's back. as he does the classic Gumi emote, the one that I've pretty much only seen him use, at least since beta. No one really uses that emote anymore. I don't think anyone even has that emote anymore. But oh my goodness, and I mean, Gumi coming back, and just kind of like last game, comes back and then just absolutely BMs OTKU Hideout with these emotes and with the Giga Blast kills. Now Best Jelly and MarkXO on life support, waiting out this power play. Good. Best Jelly keeping it in with that core flip, waiting for MarkXO and Alpha Kibi to respawn. Another great save, just narrowly getting it past that blob, and MarkXO not quite able to get a hand on it, keeping that secondary not in play anymore. Great job from Bounty Hunters from waiting that out.
Great job indeed, as this open goal barriers are so tight as a super long set, and that's exactly the setup that you're trying to avoid. That projectile just pierces everything and will continue to keep that core moving. That's another secured goal for OTKU Hideout, as they're looking to go up in this set as well and maintain their lead in this series of 3. This is looking really, really good if you're OTKU Hideout, because it seems like they don't really have the answers. They aren't super confident against this kind of like really heavy core control composition with the firewall, with the glitch pops, with the flow state. They're able to get these goal barriers down, but it seems like they aren't able to just secure that final goal.
Yeah, I mean, this whole series really so far has kind of been the MarkXO with lots of love. That's what he says his name is, show. I mean, it's just been his show, right? And Alpha Kibi has been dying, it seems like a little bit, like on both these games, right? And MarkXO, great save from Best Jelly, great flip, amazing reactions there. And MarkXO trying to keep it up, but gets staggered. Gonna be in trouble here. Great passing plays there from Kainoob, down to Gravity, back up to Kainoob, back down to Gravity, and the goal. Good job putting it away. Definitely great job from Bounty Hunters to actually put away that goal. This looked like a little bit more of the normal Bounty Hunters, and it kind of keeps happening, right? Bounty Hunters comes back from that DC, and they look a lot better, and then all of a sudden, the PC heats up a little bit, and they starts looking a little worse again. I don't really know what's going on with them. I might need to talk to him after, see what's happening, because I don't know what's happening with them today.
Right, I would love a little bit of a peek behind the curtains, as one might say, as this goal barrier does go down and those curtains are pulled for that bar. It's been such an interesting jockeying for the midfield presence, right? It seems like Gumi hasn't had really the room to run around like he did in that night market game, right? That was so close from Kainoob, just trying to send that hook, trying to get that death touch to make sure it can touch barely that gold barrier. His Best Jelly has just been keeping this one alive. This is Oni Village in its entire glory.
Yeah, we love the Atlas, you know, definitely one of Best Jelly's best picks, if not their best pick in general. And I mean, it feels like this game, Bounty Hunter's Gravity, feels like he's having a hard time of actually getting involved with the slimes, right? It feels like the speed on this map is just kind of going around the slimes. Like, look at this, right? The slime feels like it's placed in a good spot, but just not quite big enough. So he's definitely going to be looking for a Monumentalist, maybe a Timeless, get these bigger slimes, get a little bit more impact, maybe a little bit of rapid fire to get more slimes on the field, extra special, things like that, right? As we get into the first draft here, once this is over. But, you know, 1-2, and it is Oni Village with an Atlas, so no twin drive, however. It's still going to be a very long game.
It's still going to be a very long game, especially because really at the highest level, I firmly believe, especially after watching some of the crazy plays from You Already Lose, from Gumi this weekend in the Pro League Invitational, it comes down to the goalies. It comes down to how crazy these goalie saves can be, because the forwards are going to execute. They know their setups. They know everything that they need to do to mess up these players. But if the goalies can't maintain it, if the goalies aren't ready for it, that's when things get dicey. That's when players can take over the game, as that core flip goes through. Best Jelly not able to be in the right spot to use that core flip, gonna save it. This is a 2-2 set.
Yeah, Best Jelly didn't seem like he was ready for that completely there. Great core flip there from Kainoob. Great death touch, not able to get it from that Amy turret, able to stop getting that last barrier. However, MarkXO Alpha Kibi looking to answer here, trying to keep that flow state up, able to do it for now. Going to be getting that ult, keeping that flow state up. Great evade from Gumi to actually ruin the flow state and to basically nullify the ult from MarkXO. So definitely a very heads up play there, and a great pull from Kainoob to get Best Jelly away from that core. Loses the last barrier, but Gumi also loses theirs. It's an open net.
I really wasn't sure. You can easily evade that Octavia ultimate, but if it's it's such a gamble, right, to try and keep that flow state up, as he's going to go for it one more time on this open net. Alpha Kibi able to use the Cyber Swipe to keep it away for just the time being. Gonna bounce it off the barrier. Not gonna be able to get it off of that diagonal. The ultimate comes out. These shockwaves not gonna be able to land. Not gonna keep the core in front of him just in time as kind of keeps it past. Barely able to get through. Gravity no longer cracked, but not gonna win the strike war. Alpha Kibi secures that set for Otaku Hideout. Just one little slip is all it needs. Best Jelly definitely earns that MVP.
And Otaku Hideout getting the first set once again, right? And honestly, as we look here, getting rewarded, I mean, I believe he should take Monumentalist here or Missile Prop. Not quite sure. Monumentalist does not want the Juno to get a hold of that. However, that leaves Specialized Training open for the Kai. And built different, the looming threat here, Octavia is forced to take it away from that Rasmus. A little bit too scary as Deadeye onto that Juno, doing a little bit more damage with those slimes. Catalyst, definitely not surprised there, onto the Rasmus. Very, very strong training as we saw last game. And Missile Prop onto the Amy. So a little bit better glitch pops, a little bit longer ultimate as well. Great trainings all around, really. I think if I had to give an edge, I'd probably say 2 Bounty Hunters of it because of that Specialized Training and because of the Catalyst. However, really not by much, if anything, because of the fact, as we kind of see there, the Specialized Training and just absolutely removing Alpha Kibi off of the map immediately. And with how good Gumi is with these Giga Blasts, excuse me, I mean, we're going to see a lot of Gumi KOs.
I actually really like the build different on Octavia. I think that the size trainings are really, really crazy, especially once you get those ultimates. Like, 100%. All of a sudden, Mark XO is just going to start getting these crazy KOs out of nowhere, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, what? Like, if kind of just sticks around the side for just a little bit longer, it's going to be curtains. Going to be finally using it. Not going to be able to stay alive as Alpha Kibi. These blobs are going to try and keep this one away. And you try and just get that one. Mark XO was doing a good job defensively, staying in between the forwards of Bounty Hunters and able to keep the members of Bounty Hunters away from each other and keep those cores not landing every single time. And Best Jelly is just ready for it at that goal barrier. Just nothing is standing in his way from clearing these away. This is insane. There's just not enough coverage, it seems like, on the side of Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, really, really great job from Best Jelly to remove the options from Kainoob there, and then the forwards on Otaku Hideout are pretty much denying Gravity everything. They're not letting Gravity move, not letting those slimes stay on the ground to, you know, give Kainoob a little bit more presence, give him a little bit more pressure towards that goal. And great saves there from Gumi as well. Both goalies playing incredibly well. Kainoob looking for the barrier, gets it with the slime as well. Best Jelly farming core flip, almost has it. Great turret from Alpha Kibi. Both almost have core flip. Best Jelly just getting it now. Alpha Kibi should get it with 1 or 2 more strikes. Has to use it there to defend. Great attack there from Kainoob. Alpha Kibi uses it, just goes wide a little bit. Mark so going to be looking for the kill here onto Kainoob. They definitely need to get this soon, or else the slime will be doing just that over time. No hot shot available, however, it's going fast enough. Finds the bottom corner. Best Jelly, no cooldowns.
Best Jelly, no cooldowns. There was a really good opportunity for Otaku Hideout to just deny that and finally just get that last goal barrier down. As Gumi has also been playing super well on this defensive stand, really. But look at the levels. Alpha Kibi is level 5. Has definitely not had the amount of touches, has not had the KOs necessary. Right, exactly. It's just been hard. This is a very squishy composition. Even with the Atlas, to have that ultimate keep them alive every once in a while, it's not going to be enough if you've got the Blobos that you're trying to keep down. If you've got the Rasmus, which is trying to death touch you every once in a while, as that Giga Blast sends Mark XO, but not before that goal barrier goes down. Kibi's going to be able to crack Kainoob's bar, and that barrage from Gumi flying forward, able to land, and core flip sends it through. Bounty Hunters wants to take back this set and take back momentum in this series.
Yeah, I mean, great flip there from Kainoob. Waits out the strike from Mark XO, or excuse me, from Alpha Kibi, because Mark XO did get Giga'd off of the map. Did get both the barriers. Definitely still playing incredibly well as he gets another one there. I mean, it just feels like if the Octavia gets removed off the field, a lot of the presence just from Otaku Hideout in general slows down, right? I mean, Best Jelly playing really well, but on an Atlas on this map, really, you're not going to have too much offensive pressure. And Alpha Kibi not really having a lot of presence this game or last game, as we've been seeing. I mean, last game, the later sets definitely felt very, very good with the ore trainings, but I mean, compared to Mark XO, feels a little bit lackluster. Definitely looking forward to seeing them possibly step it up here. Hopefully get some levels as they're almost about a ding level 6. Best Jelly and Mark XO 2 to 3 levels above them right now. I mean, just really has to stop getting KO'd from Bounty Hunters and remove those. That's like basically the main thing, right? Is I'm kind of noticing is that OTKU Hideout, they're ahead, but it feels like Bounty Hunters on that 2-0 lead in this set right now, only because Alpha Kibi getting removed from the pitch here a lot, as they actually removed Mark XO. So Gumi finding that specialized training, and now it's Alpha Kibi's turn. We'll see if they can get a great flip from Best Jelly, not able to, able to protect their own barrier. Strike Shot, able to protect it again. Gravity and Kainoob hunting here for it. Alpha Kibi has that flip, looming presence here, looking for the cyber swipe possibly. There it is, not quite able to find it, but a flip into the net. Alpha Kibi proving me wrong, finally getting that goal. Great flip onto them, and now it's 2-1.
No, I agree with you completely. Just the IME's positioning, it's very, trying to play more like an Estelle when really you can be a lot more in their face. That they can't be KOing everyone at all the time. They need to be able to get in there, as Mark XO is in there using that ultimate to keep those goal barriers and keep the pressure on this core as those goal barriers are opening up. But Alpha Kibi going to get sent to the Shadow Realm for the time being, as Mark XO is getting hurt as well. It's a good opportunity for OTKU Hideout to start bringing this set back, but Bounty Hunters has the flip, and it seems like they've been able to get this offensive going as they do get those cooldowns as cross-ups in the perfect spot. It's just so rough when you're trying to secure the goals, and all of a sudden all these cooldowns are up, and you are just wasted all of them trying to get that goal barrier.
Yeah, flip into flip. What? Power Friendship, not quite able to find it. Best Jelly, great expanse, actually predicting that top corner, stopping Kainoob in his tracks. And Alpha Kibi, Mark XO, I mean, have the cooldowns here, using them to trying to clear. And the one kind of weakness, as we're seeing here, actually, with the Bounty Hunters team comp, as Bounty Hunters put into the bottom corner, Best Jelly not quite in position, the primary not quite reaching, the core going oh so fast on this Oni village. But I mean, kind of like I was saying, the weakness of the Octavia Amy forward comp is that they're very squishy. They're both incredibly squishy, and to get KOs, they both have to risk their life going near the edge, right? Whether it's the cyber swipe or whether it is that Octavia ultimate running to the side and just becoming very vulnerable to that extra specialized training, as we're seeing Giga Blast from Gumi here now that he gets the extra special. Timeless on the Atlas, Glass Cannon on the Juno once again. Peak performance going to be amazing on Octavia here. Bulk up goes onto the Rasmus, a little bit more power, and I'm expecting a fire up. Yep, fire up on to Alpha Kibi. So another reason, make sure to stay on the field as long as possible. Get the flip out for your team.
That Atlas is looking disgusting, by the way.
Yeah, look at that build.
The triple creation build is going to be so hard to break through. That expanse! It just covers the entire thing. And if he gets Twin Drive next set, like, it is legitimately Jover, I feel. And of course, then Gumi could get prime time, obviously, but like, that is going to be so much harder to break through than it was last set when we had these super long rallies. Mark XO is going to need to try and find a way to finish this upset on OTKU Hideout by just, like you said, the peak performance, the extra stagger is going to help him stay alive for a little bit longer and stay faster, but needs to start getting more values out of these ultimates. Need to start making sure that flow state isn't used just to try and build up speed, but instead to making sure that they're positioned better and getting these goals through. Is this able to get saved? Core flip comes out. 2 core flips used on the side of OTKU Hideout to make sure that goal does not go through from Kainoob, and Gumi gets used as well. Alpha Kibi's turret, again, is just cutting off the map, but not really conveyor belting that core into the goal barrier. Now it's Mark XO who's cracked one more time. The blobs, along with that speed boost on the side stream, able to send that one past Best Jelly, and Bounty Hunters looking like they're finally just getting enough chinks in the armor to get this one through and get this on their advantage.
Yeah, maybe Bounty Hunters kind of have to readjust to the West ping, right? Playing on Central for all these scrims recently and for the entire Pro League, kind of, I believe, gets like 20 ping or something crazy onto Central because they do live in Mexico, so it's near Dallas, at least relatively. And, on this West ping, maybe they just have to get a little more used to it. A little bit of a kind of a wrong take there, mainly just trying to make a narrative for no reason. However, it could have some effect into it, not gonna lie, especially for Gravity, who is a central player. So definitely gonna be getting a lot better ping onto the central servers rather than the West. But, you know, playing well so far. The Juno definitely very, very strong on this map. Definitely very strong in overtime, which we're soon going to reach here in 10 seconds unless MarkXO has something to say about it with this flow state, with this Amy turret, able to find it before overtime. As I was saying, wow, just well played from OTKU Hideout there.
But this is the kind of ultimate usage that I like to see, right? Like, the core was butted up against those goal gates, and the ultimate came out from MarkXO, forced that one through, and really just shut down the anti-stuff from Gumi. And then the turret able to cut off the defensive opportunities from the goal and was able to just send that one through. These are the kinds of impacts that these ultimates need to be having, that we've been seeing from people like Gumi, who have been sending out the Giga Blast at the perfect time, but just have not been seeing it until right then. This is exactly what OTKU Hideout needs to be doing, but there's still a chance for Bounty Hunters to make sure that that is going to be not enough even still. If they can just keep these passing plays alive, they can keep these Blavos out.
I mean, keep in mind, it's still Bounty Hunters, right? I mean, the favorites of the game, you know, with a 94% favorite margin at the beginning of last game. Now it's, I believe, closer to 50-50 after OTKU Hideout looking so incredibly strong already. So, I mean, they can definitely do it. If there's any team that can do it, it's them. And OTKU Hideout, I mean, riding that high right now after last game and being even in sets. However, they are not even in players as Bounty Hunters, taking off players over and over again. Just no mercy right now for the side of OTKU Hideout as Bounty Hunters trying their best to get this last power play goal. Alpha Kibi up in a second, but it does not matter. The slime just there everywhere. Best Jelly has nowhere to clear to, and overtime slime bottom corner, nothing they can do.
And this is sometimes the unfortunate opportunities that arise from an Octavia, is that ultimate ended up sending that one right back towards Best Jelly like 3 times and wasn't ready to just try and clear that away, because it's supposed to be your teammate standing right there. Unfortunately, sent that one through. Gumi's flying, trying to use this core flip, not gonna be able to send it through, gonna end up getting it off the barrier. Gumi is still up there in the front lines, trying to hold this one down, trying to hold down the fort, as MarkXO is getting cracked this time as well. That's gonna be a death's touch. That's gonna be Bounty Hunters looking really clean on this last set goal. They're up 2-1, and they're clawing their way back. They've got something still to say.
Yeah, I mean, Gravity finally getting those goals, showing why the Juno is oh so strong on this map. It gets the twin drive, able to deny it from Best Jelly, which is crucial here on the side. I believe, you know, Best Jelly probably going to be taking, I'm not too sure, there's a lot of things you could take, either the Chrono Boost, maybe the Replicator that takes the Replicator. We're going to be getting the Chrono Boost onto Gumi. Really good training for Kai, especially in that goalie position, able to keep that space, that secondary up for so much longer. Stacks on stacks, amazingly strong on this map, and Kai Noob not really dying this game, so going to be making very good use of it as we get the heavy impact for Alpha Kibi, excuse me. So going to be hunting those kills maybe across the map with that cyber swipe and with the missile prop as well with those glitch pops. But MarkXO gets the stacks as well, so stacks on both sides. However, MarkXO a lot more vulnerable than Kainu.
Right, exactly. Those stacks can really get shut down. The counterplay, very easy to take advantage of. It's right there. It was almost happened. Wow. MarkXO almost getting sent off to the sides, sent off to the sidelines. And that, look at the stagger. It doesn't even matter the peak performance. You're just
so fast.
But he's so fast. He's
both.
staggered now, trying to find this one through, getting pushed back by that barrage because of the stagger. Already, finally is able to get that one off, as both players have the core flip on the side of OTKU Hideout, trying to get this one through. Finally able to core flip. These Blavos are setting up a freaking wall. No cooldowns are on the line. Finally, the cyber flip comes through, but MarkXO is still staggered and finally gets KO'd from the energy burst from Kainu. There's still 2 gold barriers standing on the side of OTKU Hideout. They can easily defend this. Core flip comes through, and that turret means that Gumi cannot reach it with his own core flip. What a turnaround of events, and that was what?
Wild. Yeah, that was wild. I mean, MarkXO playing like a bit of a demon right now. I don't know what this guy took before this game. Probably need to check his PC, maybe check his blood after this, because this dude's popping off. And I don't think I've ever seen this. I mean, Mark XO, I always knew he was a really good player, but I did not. I mean, I guess I was not familiar enough with his game.
Yeah.
As, you know, I definitely haven't been seeing every single Otaku Hideout game, but maybe I'm going to have to start watching him after this game, because Mark XO is just a joy to watch. Playing Juliet and now Octavia and popping off on both, who does that?
Who does that indeed? Takes a skillful player to be able to use these two masterfully, and that is what we've been seeing, a master class. Core flip comes through from Kainoob, trying to send Alpha Kibi away, as well as sending that core into the net. Not going to be able to do so. Best Jelly trying to stick around, making sure. Gravity trying to get on the other side of Kainoob, but these members of Otaku Hideout are keeping the players separated, making sure they can't get these passing plays off. Octavia finally decides to ultimate. Going to be able to get the core flip from that, actually, as the flow state comes online. They're going to try and get this goal barrier down. The core flip comes through. Flow state is alive, but no energy means that it is a very vulnerable Octavia trying to cyber swipe through. Best Jelly has the core flip, so they can play a little bit more aggressively. They know that they've got the safety net of that. It's so fast from Mark XO, but so is the core. The core is so fast, especially on that side stream, especially in overtime. And Best Jelly not able to react.
Not quite able. I mean, Best Jelly had everything to save that, had the strike range, had the flip, but just caught sleeping a little bit. And it's a shame to think, you know, what could have happened with that infinitely stacking, you know, Mark XO just going so fast, and with the stacks as well. I think it probably had like 1200 plus move speed at that point, like, and now has 0 move speed as they die. But great flip there from Best Jelly. Finally does use it to get rid of, or to secure that barrier, excuse me. Loses one, however, that is not Atlas's job. Atlas holds one barrier and that's it, but can't hold either now, as the Slime able to stop that in his tracks, kind of playing it up very, very well here. Gravity and Gumi trying to keep it forward, kind of getting in the fray, not quite able to do it as the power play is now over. The Slime's keeping it forward, Best Jelly keeping it away from their goal, kind of trying their best. Alpha Kibi, great turret, but gets taken off the field. 6 KO streak from the Giga Blast on Gumi, and kind of in the perfect spot, covering every single player. Great secondary recap, top corner.
This is it. Bounty Hunters can equalize right here and get us to that coveted game 3 that we were wanting earlier, right? that we definitely wanted.
We wanted, but we weren't hoping for.
We wanted. Goal barrier goes down. Otaku Hideout still has opportunities, right? They can get a couple more good awakenings in the draft. They can actually try and make this thing happen, because they have plenty of opportunities. They have the core control. They just need to stay alive for long enough to realize their opportunities and to get those stacks online for Mark XO with lots of love in those pancakes made with love. Goal barrier goes down, and this is the opportunity they've been looking for, the power play. Flow state going to go down as well. The passing plays, kind of not able to walk forward just enough. Giga Blast comes through. Now there's 3 forwards, but there's 2 core flips. That's going to be Mark XO styling just enough for Alpha Kibi to come alive. Turret goes online. Not going to be able to interact with the turret too much. Kind of and Gumi keeping it away from that firewall. Flow state comes back online, but that's a very damaged Mark XO. It's going to come through, but no, barrage misses. This is an opportunity for Otaku Hideout to try and maybe get the chance to keep this game alive. The overtime is going to send this slipstream so fast with the core. Core flip is online. Gumi almost has core flip as well and is going to try and stall to try and get it. Mark XO is in the enemy's goal box trying to make something happen, but is staggered. Beautiful ultimate comes out as he gets yanked into it as Mark XO. This is going to be so clutch if Best Jelly can finally get the core flip off and is going to be able to save that one. Going to be able to save it again with the strike shot. The primary comes online as well as the flow state, and Mark XO is going to keep that one away from Gravity with the core flip. The Celestial Expanse is keeping this one in the corner. I cannot believe how much craziness is going on.
Oni Village.
Oni Village indeed. The core flip. Ooh. There's too much chaos, and Gumi core flip just a little bit too early. That beautiful cyber swipe from Alpha Kibi is gonna land Otaku Hideout one more chance in this set.
Yeah, great play there from Alpha Kibi, actually stopping the core flip on that cyber swipe with his own, and then just waiting just half a second. Gumi flips and then putting it into that top corner. Gumi just a little bit too early with it. I guess was assuming that they were gonna fire it out a little bit earlier. Another core flip there from Kainoob stalling just for a little bit, but MarkXO dead now, but stalled as long as they could. Gets that second barrier for the trebles. Alpha Kiwi looking for a solo goal here, as Best Jelly just needs to defend one barrier. One goes down for Bounty Hunters. They need to find another here if they want to make use of this power play. They only have 2 seconds. Gumi gets stopped by the glitch pop onto Alpha Kiwi, and Alpha Kiwi just showing us that he belongs here too. MarkXO both now popping off. This is exactly what happened last game. You know, MarkXO just absolutely popping off on these early sets, then Alpha Kiwi joining him, and with both of them popping up together, it looks like they're unbeatable.
It does look like they're a little bit too hot to handle, as this hot shot is going to come through. Prime time denied from Kai, but still going to get the rapid fire. That's really, really big for this Awakening activation. And Big Fish going to come through, so that's a double size. Yeah. That's going to be so tough.
Oh, hot shot.
Aerials? Ah, this is such a crazy draft.
Okay, so Egoist on to Kainoob is going to be huge. You know, has been getting a lot of flips. Kainoob definitely not been dying a lot. Has the Catalyst as well. We saw this with MarkXO last game. He's going to be getting a lot of speed and a lot of core flips, so definitely look for that. But also, we really have to look out for is that hot shot from Gravity. I think Bounty Hunters did win that draft overall, and I think they're postured to win this set 5. We should be going to a game 3 if everything goes, you know, normal, but nothing has been normal about this series so far. So, expecting craziness again, especially onto Oni Village with a Juno, with Hotshot, and with a lot of these overtimes. So, man, I mean, just absolute craziness this entire series.
Otaku Hideout is posturing themselves to try and make the craziest upset, I think, in this bracket, potentially, and sending Bounty Hunters to losers early, as they are sending this core into that goal barrier early on. Gonna keep the flow state alive as MarkXO is gonna get a handle on that core one more time. Death's Touch, gonna keep it away. Gonna just opt to go for this orb. Keep the stagger up. Calm down for now. Yeah. All of a sudden, a lull in the gameplay.
Yeah, I would argue if they can do this, this would be the biggest upset ever. Like, there was some craziness that happened in Pro League with, you know, some teams losing in top 64, some teams not making it at top 16. But I think the fact that this is a best of 3, as Gumi finds another one, and Gravity finds one with the slime as well, double kill from Bounty Hunters, they do not want this to be, you know, they don't want them to be known as the biggest floppers, right? They want to get these passing plays, get these clean plays, find these KOs, you know, just pass it around Best Jelly. Core flip, not enough. Gravity able to hold onto theirs as well. And I mean, still some hope from OTKU Hideout, but like I said before, I believe Bounty Hunters have finally achieved Nirvana with their builds here in the draft.
Finally achieved Nirvana. Finally seeing things in a different light. As the ultimate is gonna accidentally bounce that one backwards, it looks like, from MarkXO, as 3 core flips are coming online. Another one from Kainoob is gonna send that one in, and this is what we mean with the double energy builds. It's so much pressure with those core flips, as Best Jelly is just gonna have to end up sitting there. 2-0 already, and Bounty Hunters is going to try and seal this one away. And Borg, if you're on the side of OTKU Hideout, what do you do right now?
Keep up the pressure. Like, they can't slow down right now. They have to just keep up the pressure. Go, 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 go. Like they've been doing all game. They've been overwhelming Bounty Hunters with MarkXO's pressure and with that flow state, as he's doing right now. Not able to find the core for the great stuff from Gravity with the slime, with the strike. As, you know, great glitch pop. They're able to get one. MarkXO looking for the other. The Amy turret not quite there. Great saves from Best Jelly. Looking in trouble. Able to clear it, though, as MarkXO, the flow state's still online. Castellass is so incredibly strong on this character. Just able to stack infinitely with the stacks on stacks, with that flow state. Still going. I mean, he's about to have ult up again, but the flow state just runs out. So it's going to be a little bit slower. But keep in mind, does have that stacks on stacks, so still going to be fairly fast overall. As, you know, maybe not as fast as the core, as these slimes are just, I mean, hitting him so incredibly hard. In 5 seconds until overtime, this is about to get insane.
This is about to get insane again, and I'm going to need to make sure that my breath is ready. My lungs are clear, because this is about to get crazy. MarkXO is off, and so is Alpha Kiwi. This is the opportunity that Bounty Hunters have been looking for. There's 2 seconds online before MarkXO comes back, and he's up, and he's able to get the stop from from Gumi's core flip. The ult is online. It's going to be a lot of damage. I'm not Freak, though. Alpha Kiwi's up as well. Going to send that cyber swipe in. Flow state's still up for the time being, in position greatly as MarkXO, as the turret comes online and is able to actually catch the core. Not going to be able to send it through to the goal barrier this time around. Dribbles, not going to find anything. Blobos are still out. Gravity is looking a little bit low. This massive Celestial Expanse is going to be so hard to get around, but that cooldown's not going to be up for a little while longer because no Twin Drive. This core is going to keep getting cleared, though. Best Jelly is able to find every angle. succinctly,
Oh,
but
no.
not this time! Sending it right towards Kainub, and we are going to a set match 3 in this series of Otaku Hideout versus Bounty Hunters. And already this has been 2 crazy matches. I don't know what this third one is going to come through. I don't even know what adjustments these players are thinking of making.
I mean, look at the stats here. Look at all the damage, from Bounty Hunters. They're turning it around, realizing they just need to play a little bit more aggressive. They need to control the field a little bit more. Gravity doing such a better job with over 300 redirects. Gumi as well, over 300 redirects and 130 saves. Best Jelly, over 300 redirects and 160 saves almost. That's insane. Definitely playing incredibly well. And Mark XO and Alpha Kibi. I mean, Mark XO, 327 redirects. This game, I mean, it's just Oni Village, right? It's a bit of an Oni Village
Right,
game.
yeah. It's an Oni Village thing.
I think Otaku Hideout looked really good. I mean, they kind of tapered off a little bit towards the end in that last set. I do believe it was from those awakenings and from just kind of getting out pressured by the hot shot on Gravity's side. And I mean, just the well-timed KOs from Kainub and from Gumi. So, great try there. We're going to a set 3. Not quite able to get the 2-0, the 2-0 upset. Right, but might still be able to get the 2-1 upset, as we're going to be getting into the next map. They might be taking a small break here just so Gumi doesn't DC again.
Right.
So, chill out a little bit. Everyone relax. I'm
take a breath.
Happy, actually. I just got my points back.
Potty break.
So I'm happy.
Like, at this point, I want everyone in their seats as soon as this game starts, because it is going to be hype until the very end. Another interesting thing, too, to point out is that there's a concept of like late game characters, right? Characters that really do well with scaling, with the awakenings, with the levels, and I think that Rasmus is one of those. And finally getting online, finally getting the opportunity to really like get the speed up, make sure that he's able to start knocking people around really well. That was kind of at play there, I think, because Juno's another scaler as well. So they needed to try and send that one away early, prevent them from really getting those opportunities, but just one set early on, and all of a sudden those awakenings start snowballing.
Yeah, and actually we're getting a poll here. Will Gumi DC? Put your channel points in now. Bet wherever that is, wherever I am on the screen. Over this way. Oh, that way. There we go. I'm flipped. Perfect.
Right.
There we go. Yeah, that way. Yeah, get your channel points in. Will he DC? I'm gonna say no. I think, with the fact that they are waiting a little bit, a little bit biased. No channel. Actually, there are no channel points. It is just a poll. So a little lame. No Gamba. Deal. Whatever. But there
No
is
gambling.
still another Gamba for this last game. So get your bets in while we're waiting here. And one thing to kind of talk about from last game, right, is Mark XO's play on that Octavia. And actually, I mean, really surprising me with how much pressure they're putting on and how long they were able to survive. I mean, it was a bit of an Oni Village moment. It's really hard to find kills on that, especially without a Julie, without like a Zentaro. But you do still have the Rasmus, you have the Death Touch, you have the Giga Blast, and a lot of other ways to do it. Geno not quite known for their KOs. I think Gravity did find one so actually on that map. I remember getting a KO. But
Right, yeah, no, I think it was like a stray blob that just yoinked Mark XO from like the middle of the map and sent him off to the top. And right, like you said, right, it's an Oni Village thing, but I also saw Mark XO play that earlier in the league on, I believe it was Otten City, right, and just tearing things up there. So these open maps where, there's a lot of passing that can happen, there's a lot of ground that you need to cover, and you aren't forced to play towards those sides. Really good for Octavia because you could just keep the core where you need it. Very easy to dribble, and it's really easy to maneuver those plays and get into Octavia's like sweet spots.
Yeah, I think I was just proven wrong, really, because before the match I did mention that I don't think it's too strong on that map. Proven wrong a little bit. I mean, definitely looked really good on that map. I don't really know what I was thinking. It's hard to tell because no one really plays Octavia.
You're right, exactly.
There's like 2 or 3 high elo Octavia players, and then now maybe 4. Now that Mark XO is playing it, I guess. But with him being on the West Coast, don't get to see them very much on the solo queue ladder. I mean, excited to see what this character can do, right? It hasn't been the strongest, considered fairly weak overall, especially since Stagger Swagger and Unstoppable kind of just, being gutted from the Awakening pool. but I think has some good times, right? With the cast last start on these open maps, hard to kill the Octavia when they get staggered. So I think we might see a little bit more, but maybe not this game, as it is Atlas Lab, very volatile map. I'm expecting to see a little bit more aggressive picks on this map.
Right, and Octavia is a very awakening, like, you want one of her key awakenings in those starting slots, or else you probably aren't going to want to pick her, so that's probably part of it as well. We're going to see the Atlas ban come through. I'm suspecting a little bit of a potential cue into what the opening awakenings are, as both Juno and Atlas get taken away.
We're going to see switch up this game.
Gravity. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 different bans completely. The Atlas being banned finally from Best Jelly, has been playing so well on that Atlas recently, is going to be picking the Kai, kind of what Best Jelly has been known for, especially back in the beta days for playing that Kai. So on Atlas Lab as well, definitely a very, very strong pick. But Gumi back on that Dubu now that it is not banned. So gonna be, finding a lot of success there probably with those walls. But Gravity on that Estelle, very, very dangerous pick as well. Kainu back on the Juliet and X coming out here. Rare X pick actually. X in the current state of the meta is a little bit, suspicious. However, Mark XO's proved me wrong like 3 times already, so I'm not gonna doubt him anymore. And Alpha Kibi on the Estelle as well. Going to be an interesting mirror match here for the Estelles.
It is going to be interesting. As the Chrono Boost is one of the starter awakenings, not going to be taken by Kai, instead is going to be taken by Mark XO and Alpha Kibi instead of the Rapid Fire. I think that's fascinating. I think you can speak more on that than I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chrono Boost on Estelle is a little bit troll. I think Rapid Fire is definitely a lot better on that character overall. I do like the Chrono Boost on the X though. Very, very strong awakening for the X. Gives the dash a little bit more length, which can surprise a lot of people with the KOs and that headbutt, but also kind of giving your ult a little bit more. It's like a mini cast last basically.
Right, exactly. As this cast is not going to last against the Juliet with that fiery flurry. Gonna send that one through. Alpha Kibi and Best Jelly not able to stand that one too long. And Atlas's Lab is going to be super, super hard to just stay alive on, as you saw already in that first volley. Players were getting cracked. I think it was Mark XO was already had a depleted stagger bar. This is going to be a very tough map and a very brawler-heavy map.
Yeah, the big problem with X recently is, not much mobility on that character. And with the meta right now being, a lot of projectiles, a lot of damage, it feels like X just gets outpaced and X just gets bursted down so quickly as Kainu, so quickly within 21 seconds, gets that core flip, gets that goal. And it feels like the OTKU hideout is kind of run out of steam here a little bit.
Maybe run out a little bit of steam. Maybe they had a lot of energy, especially after the amazing things that happened in that first game. Not able to continue it through after getting shut down. Gonna have to see what they can do though, right? It's not over till it's over, and especially if they can get these sneaky angles, as Mark XO is just gonna keep punching that core. Try and find this one through. Gonna be able to get it, but Kainoob gonna send his friend away. Alpha Kibi once again getting sent to the blast zone, but he's just sticking there, trying to make Gumi's life a little bit hard, as Best Jelly is not gonna be able to have all the cooldowns necessary to deal with this core flip. Gravity sending that one to the back of net. That's already one step closer to the winners finals match where Aesop's Little Pod champs are waiting. Bounty Hunters wants it.
Yeah, playing a lot better here. Gumi, I did see in chat during the break, was getting a lot of frame drops apparently from the a little bit of lack of thermal paste, it seems, on that CPU. But Big Fish Infinite here is going to be a little bit wild. Gives both brawlers probably going to be taking it here. Specialized on the Best Jelly, going to be a little bit scary. Twin Drive on to Gravity. Big Fish actually going to be taken by Alpha Kibi here as well. And TC, Timeless Creator, probably one of Dubu's best trainings, going to be going over to Gumi. Going to be a big nuisance for the side of Hideout. Those walls and those are just going to be staying out forever. Look at it. It's still out, and didn't even go away there. He actually got hit by the cold.
Show me them pause, but Gumi is gonna get the pause from X this time around. Almost getting cracked there. Fortunately, Alpha Kibi is once again in the nether realms, in just often like Minecraft nether, like nowhere to be seen. As this one gets through one more time from Kainu. And I really like the Juliet ban. I wish that they had stuck with it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just so incredibly strong on the Juliet. They thought, you know, maybe if we beat it in game 1, we can beat it in game 2. But MarkXO was on the Julie in game 1, so it kind of feels weird with the X pick and not the Julie pick without the Julie ban. Definitely a little questionable. Maybe the nerves are getting to them here, as, you know, they might not have been expecting to be winning that game 1, possibly, but you know, they're still in it, definitely. Bounty Hunter's looking definitely way more dominant than they are, but MarkXO okiing, I mean, the absolutely heck out of Gumi as Gravity looks for that last gold barrier, finds it, even though all of the members are basically dead, and MarkXO puts it away finally. You know, a little bit of, just a little bit of XP for Gravity they're giving him, but before they score anyway. I mean, it's still a chance. They still have a chance in this game.
No, definitely. Like, there's still opportunities, and like we said, like I've been saying, like MarkXO can make sure that Gumi is getting punched out, right? And they can keep them away from the back of the net. But like, if that gravity well just keeps MarkXO's health super, super low, if Alpha Kiwi doesn't have the energy to evade, they need these crazy picks that they can get and find every once in a while. But Alpha Kiwi's looking a little suspicious, hanging around the side. If Gravity sends one primary his way, all of a sudden, that's one player down. That's a power play. Kainu is finally back online. No more power play for Otaka Hideout. They've got to find a way around Gumi and around this gravity well.
One thing to kind of touch on is actually the specialized training on the Best Jelly going to be providing so much more damage on the side of Otaka Hideout for MarkXO to actually find those last KOs, those punches onto X, as, you know, Kainu playing incredibly well this set, able to find these fiery flurries and get this, you know, kind of interference on the Best Jelly to keep him away from the core. Bras just missing. Gravity kind of looking a little bit scary here as the perfect Rose Warp actually hits it right through Best Jelly. Does not have the strike up in time to save that one.
They're almost at another set. They want to get up 2-0, and being up 2-0 in a match is a lot better than being up 1-1. So this swing is important. Otaka Hideout, they probably realize it's do or die at this point, as MarkXO core flips, lots of love, and is able to get these 2 goal barriers, but not a lot of energy, and that means that this damage is going to be very, very hurting. Alpha Kiwi and Best Jelly are just going to, once again, be struggling to keep this goal barrier alive.
Yeah, lots of love, but not lots of health as he gets Dubu walled off of the map. Best Jelly and Alpha Kiwi struggling in full defense mode. They're, I mean, not quite tournament lives here, as they do have the losers bracket, and they do still have another set if they do lose here. But Gumi flying, let him fly, gets the core flip to Kainu in that corner and gets the strike war win in the top side. It just, I mean, Bounty Hunters, I don't really know what happened, but Bounty Hunters looking like Bounty Hunters now, and Otaku Hideout felt like they lost a lot of their steam.
I think it's like you said at the beginning, right? They're a team that needs to warm up. Right, they probably didn't get a lot of reps in before this match. They might have been like sluggish. They might have been, you know, not in the correct mindset to play. But good, solid players are going to be able to get into that mindset as soon as they need to be.
Oh no!
I see a look on your face.
Yeah, we get the Catalyst onto the Juliet, probably one of our best trainings right now in the current meta. Extra special going to be helpful for the X, but not quite the end of the world. Might be able to get a couple more kills onto Gumi. Gumi getting the stacks on stacks. Not sure how much that's going to help him with him getting punched in the face over and over. Egoist onto Alpha Kiwi. Not sure how much that's going to help Alpha Kiwi, as Alpha Kiwi is being sent off the map half the game. And Spark of Strength on Best Jelly. Probably the least impactful thing here, but definitely, I mean, get a little bit more power on to those Giga Blasts, as wow. I mean,
wait a minute,
but they got a kill onto Gravity.
Yeah, that power coming through and sending Gravity to his goal side, and because of that, he got scored for a little bit and couldn't come back. Goal barrier goes down, right, and Kainu was positioned really, really well here, but hey, this is actually not a bad draft. If you're on the side of Otaka Hideout, you're not super unhappy with that. You just need to, again, it's about execution. It's about Gumi sending this Dubu Fortress, Tofu Fortress, Pumpkin Fortress through and collapsing that wall. Kainu is right there to shove it through that lane.
You know, showing the power of this Dubu, showing why it was banned in that game 1, right? And just the reason why it's so powerful is just being able to run forward and play so aggressively with that Dubu wall, with that TC, that Timeless Creator, just keeping the wall up for so long, removing that clear angle permanently, pretty much, what feels like for how long the Tofu Fortress stays up, or at least on this skin, the Jack-o'-lantern Fortress, whatever you call that, maybe the Ghost Fort, I don't know. the Halloween party. Probably
I
plenty
like
of names
that
you
one.
can call it. Halloween party. I kind of
Yeah.
don't like that one, to be honest with you. But oh, kind of not quite able to find the dash punch on that core flip. Alpha Kibi looking a little bit low, but Mark XO able to, you know, get a ult on the Kainub, looking a little bit low here as well. Trying to get a kill, but Best Jelly looking a little bit worse for wear as Gumi's dribbling up in the faces of Otaku Hideout, not able to find a little gravity, going to secure that goal barrier, making sure that they are not taken out, but you know, able to flip, find it away. Gravity, Gumi to actually dribbling up, playing forward here, rolling, not able to find anything, trying to get the goal, looking a little bit low, gonna be taken off the field here, possibly by Mark XO, but evades and gets out of the way. So Best Jelly, I mean, playing so incredibly well, getting all these very, very crucial saves, and Gumi just playing a bit like an animal, like just in their face for no reason, but they might pay the price for it, but they don't. Best Jelly pays the price for Gravity absolutely popping off, finding the kill. No more core flip now for Best Jelly, and Gravity getting that score as well. Very, very insane. Good play by them.
You know what I'm noticing?
What?
Gumi's emoting a lot more now.
Yeah, I did notice that. He kind of stopped in game 2 a little bit.
Yeah, like he
That
stopped.
was
Like,
weird.
yeah, and even in game 1, like he wasn't sending as many as he usually does, but now he's alive. He's trolling one more time, and
Yeah, we
he's
need to count.
basically being a third forward. I definitely need a
count.
count right now.
This is an all-time low, I think, for Gumi emotes. I think his PC can't handle the emotes. Or maybe that's what's cooling down his PC with the emotes.
Right, I think that's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. As, you know, one barrier goes down here for the side of Otaku Hideout. Otaku Hideout trying to even it up here as Mark XL, you know, does not quite, has the chrono, does not quite have the cast to last, so ult's not as impactful as they could be. Gravity Well just coming up now, but Kainub, great dash punch, and the Rose Wart from Gravity makes it so it's basically a complete true combo. Nothing they could have done. Best Jelly, great save. Kainub has the core flip looking for here, doesn't even need it. Gumi in the face, and they're just going to end it right here. Boom, right through Best Jelly. Great core flip from Kainub. Gumi BMing emotes, but man, I mean, you gotta salute Otaku Hideout for that performance in that series, making it so incredibly close, making Bounty Hunters sweat, making Gumi's PC sweat, literally, with how hot it was. And, I mean, great set overall. Congrats to Bounty Hunters, making it to Winners Finals. And I think Otaku Hideout, if they can keep up that pace, they'll be breezing through Losers Bracket.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're looking so much more alive. And like you mentioned, the change that we saw from the beginning of this, from like week 2 to now, is just a world of difference. They're playing like they're players that can pop off against even the best in the West, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
Pulling out picks, right? And there wasn't a lot of opportunities because of the bans on Octavia for a while, but pulling out the picks like Octavia, pulling out the Juliet, that was really surprising, and Alpha Kibi showing that they can flex a couple of different characters as well and still perform. Like, this is the level that you need to be seeing, and they've been showing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my MVP, I think it's a little tight. I think Kainu played incredibly well overall. I think Gravity, though, might be just barely my MVP. Felt like in that first game as well, just playing so incredibly well, keeping their team, you know, in it the whole time, even through the DCs, even through the crashes, you know, all this stuff going on. They were able to play solid on that Juno and on this Estelle now too, you know, finding a couple of these KOs, finding these goals crucially. And I mean, not quite the most redirects of this game, but had, I think, like the most redirects as well on that Oni Village game, even though, you know, they lost and they took that to the set 5 as well. So I mean, hats off to Gumi, or to Gravity and Gumi and Kainu, all of the bounty hunters for making it to Winners Finals. They will be taking on Aesop's little pog champs. Man, I hate that name so very much. But
I
they
know
will
you
be
do.
taking them on Winners Finals. Don't quite have a date for that yet. Stay tuned. I believe, you know, with all the dates in the tournaments going on with Pro League and everything, kind of threw everything out of loop for you guys. But keep on the lookout for that as, you know, we figure the scheduling out.
Bounty hunters, though, looks like they're exactly trying to get that money, trying to get that bounty, trying to find the way to the sweet 3K, and looks like they're back on the track to do so. I believe that's going to be it from us here in the booth. I've been Magic 8 Ball.
This is Borg, and where can they find you, Magic 8 Ball? Because, you know, been loving seeing you casting recently, loving you come to the game, been seeing you playing a lot more. So definitely, you know, for our first cast together, I believe, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed casting the set with you. Where can they find you?
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed the cast as well. They can find me at Twitter, even if it explodes. I'll be there for a little bit longer, I'm sure, at magic_octo, and you can find me in the Discord at just Magic 8 Ball. Borg, where can the good people find you?
They can find me at Jord_OS on Twitch, Twitter. I'll be casting here, but I mean, hold. Actually, we might be getting an interview. We have a winners
Wait.
interview. Okay, so Gravity is going to be coming in, probably talking a lot of trash here. I'm excited to see it. And Gravity, welcome in. I mean, I thought, I gave you the MVP for that game. How did you feel about the series overall?
You talking to me?
Oh yeah, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I'm
Here's the
smooth with my
breakdown.
transitions.
Well, you see, I was like, what is it? Disconnecting, reconnecting to the call. So also, I was told there wasn't going to be a winners interview, so we're just chatting it up. But anyways, all right. Game one,
Yeah.
we are just fucking around. There is no here like our comms are actually streamed that game on Goomies. So what happens at game one? We're here matching around. Kainu wants to take stacks on Julie when the stacks draft is up, and then Gumi takes it. We're like, no, give it to Kainu. Gumi takes it. And then he's like, "Oh no, sorry, I was alt tabbed. And he types in his Twitch chat, "No, I actually wasn't alt tabbed. I just wanted to run fast." So he takes away stacks from Julie for fun, just for fun.
Okay.
And then the
So-
orb trainings
Oh,
came,
go ahead,
and I gave them, I gave them orb replicator when he had max.
That was gonna be another
He is
question.
so fun there.
Why? Why do that?
So we were bored.
Okay.
like-
yeah.
We're fuck around and find out. So that's kind of like game one. Also, we gave them Twin Drive Atlas for fun too, because again, we're
True.
bored. Like
Yeah.
we weren't there. Also, we weren't warmed up. Game two though, they are the ultimate high rollers. The fact they didn't win is insane.
Yeah, a
Probably
little bit.
God's luckiest people on the other team. God's favorites. Also, you should have taken quick strikes over stacks. Probably lost them the game.
I was thinking. Okay, I was actually thinking that as well.
Yeah, quick strikes is a bit broken. They hit big fish, which likely kind of saves them a bit, but we should have lost. Like the second quick strikes came up, like God handed them the win. Jesus
bit.
came in and is like, it's all yours. I don't know. My teammates were kind of nervous for the game, like during the game, but not me, not at all. Because I just going into a game like that, you just know that we can't lose. Like even if the games look close, like there's just no chance we can lose.
Yeah,
You
the
know what I
rock
mean?
or the slime in the midfield, I guess, for all those games. But
What
Yeah.
gives
go
you
ahead,
that
Magic 8 Ball.
confidence, my guy? What gives you that confidence?
We're just better in every role. I
Okay.
think a big part of it though was yesterday with like after the DLS game it's got because during that game it's a different type of nerves, right? Because over in OSPL we're the underdogs. You're like, oh shit, like you guys are going against trio abusers, whatever, sad boys. I don't know what their name was that tournament. What sad boys. And so it's like if we win, it's huge. But if we lose, it's nothing. But it still feels really good to win. So we're all super nervous. And like when the score is 2-2, like every core flip's like awful. And it's super nervous. After that game, we go to a third place match versus Finesse. I'm not nervous at all. Like even if they're a very similar caliber team, I don't know, just calm. Like I can't.
No, I get that. That's a good explanation.
Yeah, it like
Yeah,
overshot my nerves. It actually happened to me in baseball a long time ago. You used to always get super nervous, and then after one really big game, I was like, no, I'm just no longer nervous. I
Yeah,
think
I
I've
mean,
hit that point.
How do you think Otaku Hideout played this series overall? I mean, I think personally, Mark XO kind of was a little bit of a demon, especially games 1 and 2. I mean, game 3, obviously, you guys just completely dominated, but games 1 and 2, it felt like I feel like I haven't seen this guy pop off like that ever. Was that more of you guys not playing as good, or do you think he was playing incredibly well as well?
I think it's multiple factors. One, they played pretty solid. I definitely surprised me. They're much better than I expected, especially from a team that really underperformed at OSPL. I don't know. Maybe they have bad ping on central servers. I don't know. But they high rolled a bit. We were trolling a bit. Also, I think another big thing was especially in game one, because I had the twin drive Atlas, and then he just has so many stats. Like he has so many stats, so many opportunities. I think Marco was bound to put it in. Though, especially towards the end, he absolutely clipped the shit out of us in game 5 of game 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was insane.
It's like if Marco makes a montage, it's gonna be featuring me and Gumi.
A little bit.
Kind
yeah.
of was off the screen. So
You guys, I mean, taking away the victory in the end. And I mean, I guess going forward to next, whenever the match happens, you versus Aesop's Podcast, how do you expect that match to go?
So they're really cringe and play Rune. So champ's gone. I'll tell them that beforehand. Anyone who plays Rune that's why we banned Rune game 1. So least skillful
Yeah.
champ in the game. It's super lucky, super RNG, hit extra special one game. We want to minimize the RNG because in a fair 50-50 game, we will 9-0 literally every team. You saw it in game 3, just a normal RNG game where we actually showed up. I mean, I don't think it was like a 9-1, 9-2. Like that's what's going to happen against pretty much every team. But gods, we prayed to him a little bit for the finesse game, and he came back to bite us. Made a little deal.
If you could change one thing about the game right now, what would you change?
Remove infinite. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. This is a tough choice. All right, it's like first, like, because like champs like Rune exist, Zentaro, Asher, pretty much Joker's champ pool. Like, they're all super cringe. Like, I hate playing against them. Then on the other hand, you have Juno, who's super weak, but my favorite character to play. So like that's kind of it. But the big thing is I hate the RNG system. It coin flips game outcomes really heavily. Like I think a lot of games, even if it's not the main driving factor in a loss, it's definitely always a factor. And I hate the amount of RNG and shit that happens in the games. Like especially because you can't just say like game 3 versus Dark Spike and OSPO. Like I think they played better than us, but it certainly didn't help that we got absolutely shafted by Awakenings. And it always feels bad because you can't. It's hard for us to like definitively say like, damn, they just gaffed us. Like, oh, like RNG happened. Same with finesse. We beat them, but it doesn't feel like a true victory. We high rolled big fish in game 2 when we were down 2 sets. So, and I think the way to fix that is remove Infinite Awakenings or Demon Deus. That map is bullshit too. Don't know why that's in the game either. But especially Infinite Awakenings. Demon Deus and RNG. Oh, map select.
Hey,
Don't
we
know
said
where that's
one.
at.
We said one.
It's like I'm a bit of a fan of the Omega Strike.
Bro's trying to go back to Gravity podcast casting days.
Yeah, let's just say
either way,
I don't like OS.
Either way, I
Damn.
mean, finishing up, still playing it. So I mean, I think it's 12:40 Eastern, 9:40 PST. I think we'll probably call it there. Gravity, thank you for coming. Congrats to you and Bounty actually for getting to those finals. Good luck in the winners finals against ASOS Pop Champs. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it from us. I mean, thank you guys all for watching. I mean, great game. Kind of insane series. We didn't really expect the series to be happening, but Bounty Hunter is always giving us a guess. So thank you for that as well. Shatter, I guess, before. So, I mean, anything else you have to say, Magic?
No, other than keep tuning in because anything can happen in Omega Strikers.
We saw today, not quite the upset, but close to it. Bounty Hunter is able to kind of battle back, and not quite sure if when the next date is, but you have to stay tuned, for the upcoming announcements for the next playoff game here. Apologies again for how crazy these things have done. We'll make sure everything is finished up soon. We'll get you, hype games regardless of when they are. So definitely keep an eye on the announcement for that. And I guess we'll see you guys all later.